Yep, it didn't go. No, you're right. Okay, let me do it now. It was showing live, but it wasn't recording because of that. So let me just do it again really quick. Better the second time around.
That's right. That's right.
Well, no, I'm glad I know that. I did know it. Because I didn't see any green, nobody getting on, so I'm glad I know that for the future. Right. Denise may have texted me, but I have my notifications on. She usually texts me when something
is going on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's okay. Well, that's okay. Sure, have you tag. I had put your name, but it didn't come up in the tag.
Oh, okay.
So I'll make sure that I get to do that. Okay. Just we're good. I apologize for that.
No problem.
Okay.
We have to be flexible.
Yeah.
Dr. Sylvia.
Well, hello everyone. We'll get started in just a moment. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Sylvia. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you all.
Hey guys, as Dr. Sylvia said, we will be live very shortly. We had technical difficulties, but this is a prime example. When you are called to inspire, when you have an amazing calling on your life, you have to be flexible, okay? Especially when we have technology. It's good, but sometimes it don't work so great. But it's getting ready to start again. You guys hang tight, and you are going to love what Dr. Sylvia has to say today and what we're going to be discussing on her show called To Inspire.
You're good on mine.
Oh.
Yes. Well, hello, Facebook family. Good evening, and welcome to another broadcast of Call to Inspire. I am your host, best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I have another very special guest here with me on Call to Inspire on today. We are actually on location again. God has me in the community. So we are on location at Spring Creek Barbecue, 6068 FM 2920, Spring, Texas. Hey, we'll be here for an hour, so you still have time to come and join the live audience. You know, I have another very special guest here with me on Call to Inspire on today. But before I get to my very special guest, let me just say, I am so thankful that for each of you who continue to support Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia week after week. It really means a lot to me. None of us gets anywhere alone, and your support means more to me than you will ever know. So again, thank you so very much. And now, my very special guest on Call to Inspire on today. My very special guest is Rachel Refoy. She is the CEO of Elevated Possibilities, which is a coaching and consulting company which supports women in the success of a thriving life. She's also the host of her own podcast entitled I Quit, which you're going to hear more about in just a moment. She is also a wife and a mother to two beautiful daughters. So Facebook audience and the audience, please help me welcome Rachel Refoy to Call to Inspire. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank God for traveling grace for allowing you. You drove a long way to be here on Call to Inspire, and it really means a lot. So I thank God for traveling grace.
I appreciate it. And just like you said, traveling, we have to go wherever God calls us to go, fly wherever he calls us to fly, but we have to get to where he tells us to go so we can advance his kingdom and his purpose.
Right, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for being here. Hey, we're going to have a blessed time on Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia on today. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and tag someone, share with someone, let them know that Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia is now airing. Yes, my very special guest again is Rachel Refoy. For those of you all that are watching, I think we may be experiencing some technical difficulties, but no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Right.
And we're going to go ahead with the show with my very special guest, Rachel Refoy. For those of you that are able to connect, she has tagged me in the video, so you can go to my page or her page and still watch the video live. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. Now, Rachel, first, is there anything else that you would like to tell us about yourself before we get into the interview?
Just what you said, that I have two beautiful daughters. I have my husband, who we've been married for 13 years, and I'm just super excited to be here and see what God is going to do and bless everyone on Call to Inspire.
Right, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for being here. It is truly an honor. Well, first, let's talk about your company, Elevated Possibilities. Can you tell us when did it begin and what does it entail?
Okay, so Elevated Possibilities, we've been in business officially for about 2 years, but I would say that I have been practicing or having elevated possibilities all my life.
Yeah.
All my life.
Yes, I like that.
But with Elevated Possibilities, we are a coaching and consulting company.
Yes.
And basically what we do, we support women with being able to shift their mindset and live fully. But mostly I help women and people in general be able to quit. We'll talk about that later. I quit. But to be able to quit and make room in their life for the things that God has for them, for the blessings that he has for them.
Right, absolutely. I like that. She's going to tell you more about I Quit a little bit later, everyone, so stay tuned. Now, tell us, what type of clients do you serve? Do you just serve men? Do you just serve women? Do you work with students?
That's a very good question. So when we talk about evolving and the evolution and really following what God has for you, it started out primarily supporting women, which is what the coaching program, but it has evolved into supporting all people. Anyone that has roadblocks in their lives, or they know they need to move to the next level, but they're not sure what they need to quit in life to make room. So It originally started with supporting women being able to shift their mindset, which is primarily who we service, but it's open to all people, and we have students that we go out and speak to. We have men that are a part of it, so everybody.
Yes, that is awesome. Reaching students as well. I love that. Yes. Now, Rachel, one of the things that I too am very passionate about is purpose. I've actually written 2 books about purpose. Well, let me ask you this. Can you please tell us, how does purpose play a part in your company's mission?
Okay. So how does purpose play a part in my company's mission? Yes. Well, my company was born out of purpose, out of following purpose.
Yes.
And so the mission of the company is, again, to be able to help people shift their mindset and find their clarity of purpose and mission in life. And then once they're able to find that, stand firm in their self-worth and their value.
Yes.
So it's really helping people. The mission is to help everyone understand that your purpose and your talent may not be the same. That you may be able to use your talent to walk in your purpose, to live in your purpose. But that's our mission, is to help find the clarity of purpose and then to fully embrace it and walk in it.
Right, absolutely. I love that, that you talk about purpose, and that's one of the things I often say. Because you're doing something, because you're talented at doing something, that may not necessarily be your purpose.
That's right.
Right, absolutely, yes. Now, let's talk about your podcast. Now, when did it start, or has it started?
Yes.
Since our last conversation. Okay. And what is your vision for the podcast?
Okay, so funny story, the podcast. I quit podcast with Rachel Refoy, okay? We are in our 2nd season, so the 2nd season will start this month.
Awesome.
But as far as how it began, it talks again about purpose. So I did a Facebook Live about I quit and I'm still smiling.
Okay. Yes.
And my mentor, Carlos Davis, the author, he's my mentor, but he contacted me and was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? I was like, a what? He said, a podcast. And so he talked to me about it, and I was like, oh, well, let me see, let me think about it. And we got on the phone, and his greatest message to me was, people need to hear what you have to say. He said, go back and check the views on your Facebook Live. So I went back, checked the views on that live, and at that time, it was over 3,000 views. And that was like within a day.
Wow.
And so he was like, let's do a podcast. So from there, the podcast was born.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
We had the first season, and we're into season 2, which will start in a few weeks. And we're super excited about it.
Oh, wow. Awesome. You hear that, Facebook? Over 3,000 views on the first podcast. That is just awesome. Yes. Making impact. Yes. Now, let me ask you this. Starting your business, Elevated Possibilities. Now, do you feel that starting that business put you in purpose, or were you already operating in purpose?
That's a very good question. Did it put me in purpose or operating in purpose? So I was already operating in purpose in my life. Starting the business allowed the purpose to expand. Yes. And so in saying that, with I quit and Elevated Possibilities, I literally quit my job on faith, on a calling from God, took the leap of faith. And when I turned in my resignation letter, I put on there, I'm leaving, I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm following what I feel like God has called me to do. And that's where Elevated Possibilities came from. And so people were like, well, what are you going to do? I said, whatever God tells me to do. Well, where are you going to go? Wherever he tells me to go. So it definitely, I was operating in purpose, but I feel like the creation of the business expanded the purpose and allowed more people really to be inspired and understand they can elevate their possibilities.
Right, yes, I love that. Facebook audience, no fear. She took a leap of faith, and that is what it takes to fulfill your God-given purpose. That is just awesome. I love that, yes. Now, One of the things that you did also was to hire a business coach.
Yes.
Now here's one someone recently, I had a conversation with actually a business person a couple of weeks ago, and this is what they actually said to me. They said sometimes you can be, or individuals sometimes who are well educated, they can be so smart until they may feel as though, or even not realize that they do not need a business coach. Now, with that being said, why did you decide to hire a business coach?
Well, I definitely decided to hire a business coach because you don't know what you don't know. And for me, I had tried to, teach myself. So I had a mentor and we would bounce ideas, but there was something more that I was looking for. So I quit trying to teach myself and I invested in a business coach. And so with having my business coach, her name is Mia Redrick, but in having that business coach, she was just able to help me put structures in place as well as teaching different pieces of marketing. But I didn't even know where to start. I knew this was God's purpose, but business-wise, I didn't know where to start. So it was a must that I invested in someone who had the answers for me.
Right, absolutely. I agree. We need a coach in every area of our lives.
That's right.
Every area, finances, business, every area. Coaches need a coach as well.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, you're also we have so much in common. Now,
We do.
You're also an educational consultant.
Yes.
And you stated that your heart remains with educating the whole child. Can you elaborate?
So when I first began, I was in special education, general education, and moved on up. But what I saw, no matter what campus I went out to, it wasn't all about the academics. For the students to truly be able to master the academics or be open to it, we had to activate their confidence. We had to help give them possibilities. We had to help connect what a math problem, what does that really mean in the real world? So with the whole child, it's not just the academic piece, but you have creativity, so I want to nurture that. There's some emotional things that you may have, so I want to give you tools to be able to deal with that. So it's all of the student, not just the academics, but that's where it came from.
Yes. Right, awesome. That is absolutely great. Now, again, we have so much in common. You two have a heart for girls.
Yes.
And I do as well. So, with that being said, tell us about your nonprofit organization, 8 Impact.
Yes.
And the impact that it's having on the community or communities that you serve.
Well, 8 Impact, it is my pride and joy. It is my pride and joy.
Awesome.
And so when you say the heart, that's where the heart is. But 8 Impact was co-founded with my best friend. And it's all about empowering young girls, but to give them the tools to be successful in life.
Yes.
So academic tools, we even have sessions where we work on etiquette, and it's etiquette like phone etiquette when you're in an interview. How do you greet people, as well as we speak about how to deal with conflict, how to deal with agreeing to disagree. Like, you don't have to punch somebody in the face. Like, it's a whole different way that you can see that you disagree with someone. But the impact that it's having, we are in our 2nd year of working with school districts.
Okay, awesome.
And so our first year, we were blessed where we had a young lady who was the first in her family to graduate with a high school diploma. And then she also went off to college. We had another young lady who had been in regular classes, failing. And then the next year, she was in AP classes making 90s.
Oh, wow.
And when we spoke to her, her comment was, we were like, well, what was the difference? And for her, she said, well, I never really thought I could do those classes. I never really saw the point in those classes, but you guys said I could do it. So I jumped in there, and I guess I can do it. And I mean, she was so super smart, but she needed to see have the confidence,
Yes.
and then she needed to see the importance of being in those classes. So it's made great impact. Great impact.
Right. Well, how long have you had this particular nonprofit?
This nonprofit we have had going on 3 years.
Wow,
So I
awesome.
began the nonprofit before I ever truly went into business. So we had the nonprofit.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch tunes for just a minute. As
Switch
they say
gears,
now.
switch
Yes,
gears.
switch gears, switch tunes. Now, you do a lot professionally, but tell the listening and viewing audience, what do you enjoy doing away from work?
Yes. Away from work, I
Yes.
love, even though we're in Texas, I love to get to the beach and get to water. Like there's just something about the lake and water. And what really fills my bucket is having time with family and friends, just laughing and talking. And the ultimate, if my family's watching, is when we play Monopoly together at home and we're having coffee and people are building alliances, and it's absolutely hilarious. But just time with family and friends and the beach the most.
Yes, awesome. Yes. We have to do something apart from work.
Right,
Yes.
we do.
Now, can you name one book that you have read that has impacted your life personally and or professionally?
That's good. Only one book. Okay. I'm not gonna merge two. So okay, the one book. Merge two. Okay, the one book. Most recently, I would say the book "What to Say When You Talk to Yourself" by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. And so that book, he talks a lot about, you know, how the mind works and how we talk to ourselves, but he also intertwines biblical principles.
Okay.
So I love it because it didn't just further my business, but it also really helped transform some things in my life. So
Okay, awesome.
What to Say When You Speak to Yourself, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Dr. Shad Helmstetter.
Yes, thank you. Question from the audience. Thank you. Now, let me ask you this. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a business?
Understand your why.
Yes.
So you need to know why you're going into business. Your why cannot be money. Okay? It cannot. And the reason I say it cannot be money is even when the money comes, typically there's still something more that you're wanting. So in starting the business, make sure you understand your why and it's in alignment with your purpose. Then I would also say make sure that you get a business coach, a mentor, a friend, someone who has already created the results that you want to see.
Yes.
So you don't have to make some of the same mistakes and have the same stumbling blocks. So those would be the two things. Understand your why, make sure it's aligned with purpose, and get you someone that's going to be able to kind of walk with you through the process.
Yes, you know, I love that. And that you said, understanding your why. That's one of the key things that I talk about when I go out and talk to students and adults about purpose. Understanding your why, knowing your why, that is so key.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yes. Now, in the information that you sent me, you know, you also shared that you faced some losses in your life, you know, that impacted you tremendously. Now, what did these losses teach you about life?
I would say the biggest lesson is that life really is fleeting. That life is so fleeting. And we have to make the most of the time that we're here. And it isn't a cliche or just something that's said in the Bible when they say no man knows the day nor the hour.
Yes.
So the loss that you're speaking of is I lost my son. My husband and I, my son died at 3 months. And I also lost my father. I saw him on a Sunday, and then we got the call on Tuesday that he was gone. So for me, it impacted my life where I lived my life very differently. You and I had talked about like hesitation, and
Yes.
when God gives you something, you go for it. And I didn't do that prior to having lost the two of them.
Okay.
I would think and pray and fast, and the Lord give me, and I'll do it one more round,
Okay.
and then I need to write out some pros and cons. But now I know that tomorrow is not promised.
Yes.
So if it's given, I'm going for it. But it caused me to live life not with an urgency, but with knowing that if I left today, have I completed everything God told me to? Have I made the impact that I desired? So.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. You know, I also often say that in pursuing our goals, that we should be bold and intentional, you know, as we go after our dreams. Well, how did you get to this place of boldness? Was it as a result of the loss, or was something else?
I think this level of boldness where I quit came from, that I've always been bold per se, but this level of boldness and walking in certainty definitely derived from having those two losses.
Yes.
And it was a process. So I do believe, especially when I'm working with my coaching clients and even when I'm mentoring, when you really understand the why, and you really know your purpose and you're walking in, there's just a certainty and a boldness that comes from that. And I would say all of that was a process, but definitely the loss magnified the boldness, and just knowing that sometimes you gotta get a little louder, a little bolder in life for people to listen. That's it. Just bold enough, bold for God, and He gives us that certainty on the inside to be able to go forth in His name.
Right, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Amen. Now, what feedback have you gotten from your clients about elevated possibilities?
Well, I'm so glad you asked this question. One here recently, because we're in the middle of switching over to a new enrollment.
Okay.
But the clients, I've gotten feedback of, this has changed my life. I've gotten feedback of, with I Quit, for example, I had one client that she had been in a toxic environment. And so I Quit is all about, when you quit, you have to be able to replace that with something, and then make sure it's in alignment.
Yes.
And then you'll be able to elevate your possibilities. So for her, she had been in a job for over 10, 15 years. The environment was causing her like health issues, frustrations at home, just not being her best self. So she actually quit that job, but she replaced it with another job that was more in alignment with her purpose. And so that job, she's finding a better atmosphere, a better environment, and she's elevated her possibility, and she's blossoming. So as well as that, also, I didn't understand how to apply these tools. So it may be things that we already know or that we've heard of, like maybe we need to reflect, or we've heard a purpose, but how do you really find clarity with your purpose? So in those exercises, they were able to have someone walk through the steps with them and model it for them. So that's been beneficial. As well as we've had people who feel as though they've been bolder. They're a bit bolder and outspoken. But a number of things, you know, coming from them, but more than anything, the overall has been how their life has changed and how it's changed for the better and opened up opportunities for them.
Yes, awesome. Oh, to the viewing audience, again, thank you all so much for tuning in on Facebook Live today with my very special guest, Rachel Refoy. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and tag someone, share this video with someone, and tell them they still have a few more minutes to tune in to Call to Inspire, and I am your host, Dr. Sylvia. Now, another thing that we have in common is speaking.
Yes.
I love to speak. You know, I love the gift that God has given me of being a motivational speaker, and you are the motivational speaking as well. And it's so rewarding and fulfilling. Now, what has been the impact of your speaking into the lives of others?
I believe it has been not beyond the motivating and inspiring, that it inspires to action. That when you leave here, you actually take action to change things in your life. And I've been to plenty, motivational speakers, and they were phenomenal and amazing, and I was excited and super pumped. And then I walked out and didn't do anything that they said.
Didn't move you to act.
It did not move me to act.
Right.
And so that is what I feel like maybe is the difference and the determining factor, that more often than not, there are people in the audience that I hear from that it inspired them to action, to actually make an action. So that's been the greatest impact.
I agree. That's 100%. No matter what audience that you speak to, be it adults, be it students, you want to move them to act, to do something they haven't done, or to do, do something differently.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's awesome. Yes. Now, what would you say that you are most proud of in terms of what your company is doing?
What I'm most proud of. I would say what I'm most proud of is the company is actually impacting and transforming lives.
Yes.
And so when I say transforming lives, with I Quit has literally become a movement. So with people understanding that we live in choice, so I can choose to quit negative relationships, quit excuses, quit toxic environments, quit limiting my possibilities, and then I can replace that with saying yes to what God has for me. Yes. I can allow the possibilities. I can see that things are possible. So I would say the greatest impact and what I'm most proud of is having clients and people that come back to say it's truly, actually transform and change their lives.
Yes.
So
absolutely, yes. I like that. Absolutely, yes. Now, let me ask you this. How important would you feel it is for women to not just network, but to have a strong network?
Yes. Let me say yes and yes. And yes. So especially for women, we wear so many hats, and not that men don't, don't start men, not that men don't, but for women, we have to have the network because our network is necessary beyond just work. So we need a network of people who can support us in our career, a network of people where we may need mentors for our spiritual growth and with leaders. Maybe we need a network for our health and wellness, like working out and eating right. Maybe we need a network, I know I do, of people I have in place that can help babysit my kids when I have places I need to go. So we definitely have to have a network to be able to live, again, in our fullness and not heap on ourselves a level of guilt. Whether it's mom guilt or if I'm a wife, like I should be doing these things. Well, you can still do everything God has called you to do. You can do it with grace and ease. You can do it with abundance, but you can't do it by yourself. Just like you said at the beginning, you cannot do it alone.
Right.
So you have to have a network and a support system to be able to make these things happen.
Right, I agree. With that being said, we talked about having a support system. Many times, let's talk about support. A lot of times, and people say they support you, but usually the way that they feel that they're supporting you is to telling you, liking a comment, liking something, making a comment, or telling you, "I'm so proud of you." So, but what does support mean to you?
Well, to piggyback off that example, that's great for them to like, but you supporting me in that is telling people about the transformation that has happened in your life because of what I've done, because of how God has worked through me. Yes. It may be, like you talked about, sharing, like, go share this so someone else can see the greatness that's happening. Yes. Also, the support is, there are times where the motivational speaker may need some motivation. The motivational speaker or the elevated possibilities, we need to have people pour into us.
Yes.
And so all of those are, for me, pieces of support. But especially when we're talking about social media, I'm like, if you could get somebody, if you could share that, if you could let your friends know.
Right.
And mine is more like word of mouth. You know, businesses thrive from recommendations.
Right, absolutely.
So recommend me to speak.
Right.
Like you recommend Dr. Sylvia to speak, okay? Call to inspire, recommend. So any of those, but definitely being able to going beyond the likes. Now, please keep liking, but going beyond the likes of
Yes, please keep liking now.
Please keep liking. But beyond that, the support can definitely look like sharing and letting others know the transformation that we've provided for them.
Right, I absolutely agree. Hey, I'm a book writing coach, so if I have helped you write your book, let somebody know that I am a book writing coach. Show them your book.
That's right.
That is actually supporting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, great. Thank you so much for being here. That is a blessing. And I'm confident that the listening and viewing audience is being blessed as well. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. My very special guest is Rachel Refoy. Now, yes. Now, Rachel, with all that you are doing now, when you were younger, did you ever envision all that God would do in your life? And second part to my question, what bumps did you encounter along the way?
Okay. All that I'm doing, did I expect that in life? No. The bump that I have encountered was that I didn't expect it. That I had a thought and an idea for my own life. I had come up with plans for my own life, and allowing and surrendering to what God wanted my life to be in the beginning was not easy, because I had decided this is what it's going to look like.
Yes.
And the best example I'll say is like this year I did a vision board called Open and Allowing. And so I did the typical other boards, but this was the first time I did Open and Allowing. And so this board is the epitome of what you said. To overcome the bump, open is saying, I'm completely open to what you want to do, God. Like however you want to align my life, wherever you want to send me, whatever it evolves into, I'm open to that. And then allowing was being able to get over the bump of, I'm going to allow it to come however you package it. So even if it doesn't come the way I think it should be packaged, or it doesn't come the way I'm suspecting, I'm still open to it, and I'm going to allow your will to be done. So to but to get over those bumps, no, I didn't imagine any of this. So much of my business, the podcast, the I Quit movement, none of that was planned. But open and allowing God to work has been what I needed to use to get over the bump of, okay, not my will, but thy will be done. Thy will.
That is Facebook audience. That is just awesome. That is good. Hey, our audience is really enjoying my very special guest, Rachel Refoy. Yes, she is a blessing. Thank you so much. Now, Rachel, what are you most grateful for?
That's a good one. I am most grateful for life, love, and purpose. So life, there have been a number of times that I could have not been living, and people have, as we talked about, loss has come. So I'm grateful for life. For love, the love and support of my family, my husband, my clients, my fans, and then understanding truly the love of God, that even when I'm afraid and I'm nervous, he's like, just as sure as the sun rises and sets, like, I got you. Like, I love you that much, I got you. And then purpose, I'm so grateful for purpose, because now my life, when I wake up, it's like I get to do this. Like I get to work with my clients. I get to live life abundantly. I get to be on Call to Inspire. Yes. Like I get to do, awesome. Yes. I get to do these things. So yes. I am most grateful for life, love, and purpose, because all three of those I felt like I have been without in my life before. So now to have them and to experience it with this abundance, I won't lose it. Like, I'm grateful for it. I'm truly grateful.
Yeah, so to God be the glory. Now, can you please tell the listening and viewing audience how you can be contacted?
I can be contacted. You guys are watching Facebook. You can definitely find me on social media on Facebook at Rachel B. Foy, the Life Strategist. I also have a website, www.rachelbfoy.com. as well as the I Quit podcast. Second season is coming out in a few weeks, and you can find us now on iHeartRadio. You can Google us, but you can find the podcast on iHeartRadio. But those are the different ways. On Instagram, I am Rachel B. Foy. So on most social media, I'm Rachel B. Foy. You can find me.
Yes, awesome. Now, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My final question.
Okay.
Rachel, one of the things that I often say is that each of us should leave a deposit in the earth, so that we can leave a legacy that will be remembered for generations to come. Now, with that being said, what would the footprints of your life say?
Oh my, okay. Footprints of my life.
Yes, how do you want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered? That she quit. She quit limiting herself. She quit walking in fear. She quit making excuses. And she lived her life according to what God called. So everything I quit, being able to walk in His purpose, and in that purpose, it's what did I leave on earth? I want to leave a roadmap. I want to leave an example of how to walk out the purpose God's given you, how to live in abundance. And it's first going to start with quitting those things that are hindering us to be open to allow what God has had. So that was a lot I said, but I want my footprints to be, she did what God told her to do. No matter how crazy it sounded to others, she did it. And she left a positive impact on the world.
Yes, to God be the glory. To the listening and viewing audience, my very special guest on today has been Rachel B. Foy, the CEO, the CEO of Elevated Possibilities and the host of the podcast I Quit. If you haven't done so already, even after this video ends, please tag someone, share someone. Rachel has shared some very vital information that others can be blessed, inspired, and empowered to act upon. So please tag someone, share with someone. Again, to the listening and viewing audience, thank you all so much for tuning in to Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia. Hey, if you would like to be a guest on Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia, please send me an email to calltoinspire@yahoo.com. That's CALLED, the number 2, inspire@yahoo.com. Let me also tell you about next week. God has me in the community in Houston and surrounding areas. On next week, I am going to be on location at Olive Garden Restaurant, which is located at 10830 Northwest Freeway. That's Highway 290, Houston, Texas, 77092. My very special guest for the entire hour is going to be Houston's own gospel recording artist, Mona Moore. She will be talking about her upcoming concert, new music, and so much more. Hey, you'll have an opportunity to come out and meet her before the actual concert on July 27th. You can purchase tickets at eventgroove.com. She has general tickets and VIP tickets for $15 and $20 respectively. Hey, let's make it a sold out event. So go ahead, get your tickets now. Tell someone else, hey, This event is going to take place Monday, July 22nd, live on location with Mona Moore. Hey, let's pack the place. It is limited seating, so you want to get there 6:30, 6:45, so that you can get a seat. Let's pack the place on Monday, July 22nd for the live interview again with Houston's own gospel recording artist, Mona Moore. We're going to have a blessed time. Hey, you come and bring someone else with you as well. We're going to have a blessed time. To God be the glory. Hey, many of you know, as I always say, I have been called to inspire, and that also means I am a motivational speaker. So if you'd like to book me to come and speak to your students, your men's group, your women's group, to speak to your church on a Sunday morning service, I have already started booking for the 2019-2020 academic school year. I wrote a book. One of my books is entitled A Teen's GPS for Finding Life's Purpose. I have a message entitled Finding Purpose. I'm going to be continuing delivering that message to intermediate, middle, and high school students this upcoming school year. Again, I have already started booking, so hey, tell your superintendent, tell your principal, tell any teachers that you know that I am available to come and speak to the students about finding purpose. I talk to them about finding purpose now, and they do not have to wait until they become adults and they go through situations in life, they go through traumatic experience to begin to find purpose. They can actually begin to find purpose now. So that's my message, finding purpose. I would love to come out and talk to your students. Again, thank you all so much again for tuning in to Call to Inspire. Oh, one more thing. Remember, I am also a book writing coach. Hey, I'm a best-selling author and a book writing coach. If you have a story, not just a story, if you have some knowledge that you would like to put in book form, but you don't know how, send me an email to calltoinspire@yahoo.com or inbox me on Facebook. Hey, I will give you a free consultation as to how you can get started to begin to get your book out to the world. Each of us has a story. Don't take your story, don't take your knowledge with you to the grave. As I indicated earlier, leave a deposit in the earth so that others can be impacted long after you're gone. Again, my very special guest. Again, thank you to my audience on today for coming out to Call to Inspire with Dr. Sylvia. Again, my very special guest for today has been Rachel Refoy. Yes, thank you so much for being a blessing. Again, please remember to share this video with someone so that they too can be blessed by the information that she shared. And remember, on location next week, Olive Garden on Highway 290. Let's pack the place. I hope to see you there on Monday, July 22nd. It's going to be actually from 7 to 8 p.m. We'll be there again for the full hour with gospel recording artist Mona Moore. I'm looking forward to seeing each of you. I hope that each of you all will have a wonderfully blessed evening and a wonderfully blessed week. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to Call to Inspire. I am your host, Dr. Sylvia, and again, I look forward to seeing you live on location next week, Monday, July 27th. So I'll see you next week. Be blessed.